Good feeling, it's time to show. Fragrance talk, it's time to glow. Click the link, it's time to show. Fragrance talk, it's time to glow. Not so famous, but I know. Got the sense you wanna flow. In the live stream, here we go. Spraying dreams just like a pro. Notes of heaven in the air. Feel the magic everywhere. Not so famous YouTuber, fragrance world full of wonder. Every scent a perfect day. Let's explore, oh come and play. Top notes hit me like a breeze. Citrus blast then comes with ease. Heart that's blooming so divine. Spicy floral intertwine. In the comments drop your face. Fragrance love through all my ways. From the bottle dreams arise. Midnight stars in your eyes. Dry down sweet like honeycomb. Woody embers feels like home. Tune in each and every day. Come with me, let's drift away. That's blooming so divine. Spicy floral intertwine. In the comments drop your face. Fragrance love through all my ways. Heart that's blooming so divine. Spicy floral, come and play. Welcome to the show, it's time to go live. I'm about to reload, yeah. Fucked up on the low, oh yeah. Not so famous and we about to go, yeah. Hit the bell, let them know, yeah. Thumbs up so they know, yeah. Scent of the day, let the people know, yeah. Let's get it, not so famous, salute. 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 Welcome to the show, it's time to go live. I'm about to reload, yeah. Front up on the low, oh yeah. Not so famous, and we about to go, yeah. Hit the bell and let them know, yeah. Thumbs up so they know, yeah. Scent of the day, let the people know, yeah. Let's get it, not so famous, salute.
What up, guys? How's everybody doing today? Hit that like button if you just dropped in. Let's see who we got in the building today. We got Joel in the building, rocking that Arabian Oud Majestic Wood Intense. Sounds fancy. Got some Afnan Supremacy, not only intense, from John Carlo Burton, JCB. How you doing, man? Got Percy in the building, rocking that Ahmed Al Migrate. I think you guys do this shit on purpose, man. Agribi Kaif. Let us know what that smells like, Percy. So we could get our nose on something like that if you think it's worth it. Yeah, everybody knows what's up. Dropping their scent of the days. We got some love getting showed to Saunders scent real quick from JCB. Shout out, you guys know we got a guest today. Always love it when we have a guest. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hi, Spence. Hi, Sonder. Sant. Would love to stay, but I got other agendas, and I'll catch the replay. That shout out to the replay gang, man. Definitely enjoy your day, man. Get there safe. Got Barry in the building. He's rocking that Bentley for Men Silver Lake. Really nice fragrance. Smells like Aqua de Joe Essenza. I like it. Really good. I don't know if they still sell that one, but I might need to buy another bottle. I still got a good amount left, but that's one that I do enjoy. I haven't sprayed it in a while though. Let's see. That's a good out of the shower scent for sure. We got fragrance connoisseurs in the building saying what's up, what's up, what's up. Bimatsu playing in the building. Mancera Oud Lemon Mint. Really like that. Today's kind of warmer. I think it's like 79 out here. Maybe when it gets into the 70s, I'll rock that one again. But I sprayed that one not that long ago, and I was really impressed because it's been a while since I sprayed it. Got Dakota in the building. He's rocking Experimentum Shriuk. I don't know if that's a typo or what. Where are you guys getting these weird fragrances from? I don't know if it's like, Middle Easterns or what. Got some crazy names, man. Shout outs. Let's see. Juana Cho in the building rocking that Nishane Ani. Beautiful, spicy vanilla fragrance. Another one I'm looking forward to rock soon. And let's get down. Kicks Griffey in the building. Rocking that CK Reveal. I like that bottle. I seen your live earlier. It's a cool looking bottle. Need to go check the beginning part of your replay again and see what you thought about the fragrance. I was a little busy setting things up or whatever, but CK Reveal. Good prices on those CKs. I'll rock them a lot of times when I get out of the shower. Let's see if we missed anybody. John C in the building. Rocking that Carthusa Amore. Another crazy name. I need to get you on here, John C. You got to talk about these wild fragrances and. Oh shit. We got Rafan in the building rocking Decas. I rocked Decas last night. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I rocked Decas yesterday. I think it was yesterday. It might have been the day before that. Beautiful scent, man. Beautiful pick today. And I think it's one of those that you can rock in the like the fall season. You can rock it in the spring. You can rock it light in the summertime. Really nice, man. Make it make sense. Rocking that YSL Baby Cat. I know it's cold where you're at. Another fragrances that I'm interested in rocking. I probably won't take that one to 7 degrees. I'll probably rock that one in like the 60s. Maybe in the morning. That fragrance lasts, man. Such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Shout out to YSL on that one. Let's see. J.K. Robbins in the building. Rocking that Unaro Pour L'Homme the Third Oud. Yeah, I know it's cold where you guys are at. I'm telling you. Let's see. See if we got anybody else. Everybody saying what's up. Dakota saying what's up. IBG in the building. What up, man? Rocking that Giuseppe El Gourmand on the road. I'll be listening. Shout out to you. Drive safe. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Autumn Clark in the building. She's rocking that Maison Margiela by the fireplace. Smelling like some burning wood. A little s'mores action going on over there. Shout outs. Had a nightmare where I opened my fragrance cabinet to discover everything had been stolen. Don't forget to hug your fragrances. Killer comment right there. All right, let's get into my scent of the day real quick, and go through my scent of the night as well, and then we'll get my boy on who's waiting in the back patiently. So let's go.
Welcome to the show, yeah, yeah. It's time to go, live. It's that time to reload, yeah, yeah, yeah. Frog talk on the low, so let's go. Not so famous, and we about to glow, yeah, yeah. Hit the bell and let them know.
Scent of the day is going to be Ultra Blue from Mont Blanc. I picked the scent of the day in particular because I just hopped out the shower 20 minutes ago. Beautiful out of the shower scent. Let's get into it real quick. Nothing too crazy, but the price point is nice. Can't go wrong with it. I think you can probably find them for like $30 testers, maybe like 40 brand new. It's a marine aromatic citrus, woody, fruity, salty, sweet, soft, spicy, fresh, spicy amber fragrance that doesn't last long. I see Bossy in the building. Shout out to you, Bossy. Make sure you drop that scent of the day. Get into the notes of this fragrance real quick. Got a good amount of notes for a freshie. Sicilian bergamot, some pink pepper, exotic fruits, sea notes, ambergris, woodsy notes, Indonesian patchouli, and some leather. There's no leather in this fragrance, just so you know. So you guys know that we got a guest on. Let me pull this up real quick so you guys can see see who we got on. Let's see. Let's go to his profile real quick. All right. This is Rafe Halstead. As you can see, the first person on the list right there. I see Joel right there. I see Autumn Clark, two people we have in the building right now. Shout outs. Look at all those followers he has. He's following a lot of people. Big into this space. He's an Instagram guy. Look, he's got our live up already. Shout out to you. So you guys give him a follow, check him out, all that good stuff. Let's get into my fragrance of the night real quick. Then we'll head back to the chat. Fragrance of the night is gonna be from Chapard. And this is Rose Malaki. See if I can get this thing to focus. There we go. Really cool bottles. Machinery is really nice on them. We're gonna get into that real quick. If you guys let me know if you guys have tried either of the fragrances that I'm gonna be rocking today, the one that I'm rocking currently, and the one I'm gonna be rocking later on. So let's get into it. You see that rose in the background? So you're gonna get like a dry rose. So if you picture like a suede dry rose, maybe like if you had a suede shoebox and then you had rose petals and the rose petals are super dried, kind of dusty. Fragrance isn't gonna be for everybody. But it's a really good fragrance. I forgot who was rocking this last time. I don't know if it was Tef, but I think he was rocking something like that. You got some nice spices to this fragrance. Um, nothing too crazy, nothing too offensive. It's really soft. But if you overspray it, it could be a little much for most people. If it's hot, it could be a little much to most people. You do get a smoky aspect to this fragrance. Um, nothing too crazy. But I am looking forward to rocking this tonight. It's been a minute, but I don't know if you guys can see. Got a good little dent out of it already. Let's pull up some notes real quick. Get me out of the way. The accords of this fragrance are going to be rose, warm, spicy, woody, metallic, leather, floral, and some tobacco. You do get some tobacco on the dry down of this fragrance. As far as longevity goes on skin, nothing too crazy, maybe about 6 hours. On clothes, you're going to be looking at somewhere around 10 or 12. It's one of those where if you spray your clothes the next day, you grab your shirt, you can still smell it. But a really nice soft rose. It's a masculine rose. Um, Notes aren't nothing too crazy right here. You're looking at saffron, which gives you that leather, some damask rose, and a dry down of some cedar. So nothing too crazy. Let's pop into the chat, see what you guys are up to real quick. I know I'm gonna have to scroll up. Got Bossy in the building. Let's see what we got going on. Where did I leave off at? Okay. Decas, we did that. Dakota. I think it was right around when Bossy came up. Let's see. Where's Baba at? IBG. Mentor sample just showed up. Man, I'm waiting for my mentor sample. Uh, yeah, Ross sent me a mentor sample on Wednesday. I haven't got it yet. I figured it might be here today. I think it was Wednesday when he sent them out. The mail is just kind of crazy right now, as it is. I'll have to check it out later. I was about to say, how you like that? I'm looking forward to mine. I checked the mail earlier. Nothing was in there. Bossy in the building. Got John C talking to Autumn. Here we go. Intense Cafe by Montal. Shout outs. The guy that we have in the back that's patiently waiting, rocking back and forth. I see you back there. Just a review the fragrance that I am definitely interested in, and I'll let him talk about that. He did the house, so I'll let him get into that and his scent of the day and all that good stuff. Any of you guys followed him yet? That sounds really nice. I have to try that. Yeah, it's not gonna be something for the summertime or the fall. I mean, or the spring. You might be able to pull this off on the spring on a cooler day, depending on where you're at. But if you're talking about this fragrance, it is really nice. The whole line is really nice, and for the price point you can find these for, which is around that $40 to $50, really, really, really high quality juice for that price. All right, let's get my man in the building. He's waiting in the back. You guys know how we do it. He's got his own music and all that good stuff. Show him some love. Here we go, Saunders Scent. What's up, Stan? How you doing, bro?
Georgia nights and fireflies, starlit skies and blue sky. All the world fades out of sight. When I spray, everything's alright. Fragrant dreams and twilight beams, sonder senses on the stream, chasing endless summer themes, lost in Georgia's fragrant dreams. Magnolias and August rain, laughter echoes through the lane. Every breath a sweet refrain, moonlit pathways made for you. In this bottle there's something new. Every scent a deja vu, every spray makes me feel new. Fragrant dreams and twilight beams, sonder senses on the stream, chasing endless summer themes, holding hands to wonder themes, lost in Georgia's fragrant dreams. Sonder sense.
What
What's
up,
up,
man? How you
everybody?
doing?
I'm good. How are you, Spencer?
Doing great, man. Welcome to the show. Talk to the people.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in, man. I really appreciate this opportunity to kind of get dip my feet into the YouTube space. Been doing some work on Instagram and getting some love, getting some good following, and think YouTube's my next progression. My scent of the day today is Tobacco 28. Beautiful tobacco
Beautiful.
fragrance. It's got a really strong cigar tobacco type going, followed with some really realistic rum and guaiac wood. It's absolutely gorgeous. I kind of wish it wasn't a Miami exclusive. I mean, I know you can get it on their website, I think between like August and September, pretty much all the time. But I really wish it was part of their main line. I wish it was available to more people. This is one of the most realistic rum and tobacco notes that I've experienced in a fragrance. I'm a big fan of tobacco fragrances. I have a whole lot of them, but this is definitely one of the top ones that I have. Um, Leans very masculine, in my opinion. Not that a woman couldn't pull it off, but between the cigar tobacco, which almost has like a dry leafy quality and a very robust bright rum. It's a little bit on the aggressive side, but perhaps a little bit challenging for some. But I absolutely love it. This is not the type of thing that I would have liked when I was younger. I would definitely call this a mature fragrance. But younger dudes could definitely rock this with confidence. Um, yeah, huge fan of it.
Look at
Uh,
that comment below. We got Autumn rocking that fragrance. So there you
there
go.
you go. Yeah, like I said, like if you like it, if it smells good, wear it. Nothing but love to that. I know a lot of women that wear masculine fragrances and it smells amazing. And I know that often when I wear feminine leading fragrances, I get a lot of compliments from women and men too. But yeah, when a man confidently wears a feminine leaning fragrance, it can be very sexy, for lack of a better way of putting it. Um, so yeah. Thank you so much for having
Anything?
me here.
Oh, yeah, anytime, man. Anything in particular? Any reason why you decided to rock that fragrance today, weather wise, or just feeling those vibes?
I was just feeling it. I wanted to rock something I hadn't worn in a while. Something that's a little less common. Talk about something interesting to the crew. And it's finally started to cool off just a little bit here in South Georgia. It's raining outside right now. And this is definitely not the type of fragrance you want to wear in high heat and high humidity. And the summer has just dragged on here in the South this year. So I'm really excited to wear something a little heavier, a little spicier, a little more risque. I've been, rocking the high heat scents for the better part of 7, 8 months, and I love that stuff. But I moved to Georgia from Seattle 2 years ago, and most of my fragrance collection was geared for the cold, soggy weather in the Pacific Northwest. So I don't get to wear a lot of those fragrances as much as I like to. I mean, if you're inside an air conditioning, you can kind of do whatever you want, but whenever I get out there in that humidity, I'm around people and I'm wearing something heavy, people don't say anything, but you can kind of see that look on their face. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
maybe that wasn't the best choice.
Stuck in
Um,
the elevator with him.
yeah, exactly.
Sh- Shout out to you guys that are hitting the like button. I can see when you guys hit it. Shout out to you guys. You ready to get into the to the fragrances?
Yeah. So the first kind of little section that I
No,
wanted
no,
to
no, no,
do,
not here, not here. No, 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 not here. I'm saying you ready to get into the next part, and then we'll get into the fragrances. But first,
yeah,
let's talk about I saw you on Instagram. I just happened
yeah,
to be on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram that often, but I happened to catch your live, and you had a really cool vibe about you. I saw those
thank you.
bottles behind you, and I'm like, let's see what you got back there. I see some Xerjoff bottles and things like that. So you know me, I'm messing around with you, making you laugh, and I figured out you haven't been streaming that long, but you've been in the chat for a long time. So I said, man, it'd be
Yeah,
good for you to come to YouTube and check that out, man. I like your vibe. You got some different
thank you.
fragrances behind you, and I'm excited to have you on the show not only today, but maybe you'll have some time and you'll be able to come back and we can make this a normal thing.
I would like that a whole lot. Yeah, like I said, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited to just sort of, talk to people and share my passion and, share some bottles that people don't see that often or don't see anymore. Um, that's one of my big things is discontinued fragrances, hard to find fragrances, things that people don't really know about, don't have a whole lot of hype, but are still amazing and should be appreciated. Um, sometimes I like things that are a little bit more challenging. I like things that are on the creative side. Mass appealing stuff is great, but I wear fragrances for myself, and if I happen to get a compliment along the way, that's a bonus. But that's not my goal.
I,
Been
I,
collecting for been collecting for about 30 years. Been collecting seriously for probably more like 10 years. But I started collecting fragrances in the mid 90s when I was a teenager. Started out with like, Tommy, which back in the day it was called Tommy Boy, Hugo Man. For a while, I was rocking something that nobody ever talks about anymore, Givenchy Cerise Rouge. It's a kind of a ruby red bottle. They put out a reformulation of that, I don't know, maybe 3 or 5 years ago. It's okay, but it doesn't compare to the original formulation, which was this very red, syrupy, thick, kind of candied composure that had a very interesting green, sharp cactus note. It was very different. I rocked it all the time. Probably shouldn't have been wearing it in the heat growing up in Southern California. But, when I was younger, I didn't know better and I kind of didn't care. It was what I liked. Um, but eventually, around 2012, I really entered into my fragrance journey. I was wandering around the Nordstrom at the Glendale Galleria in LA, and a very pretty, very kind uh, associate behind one of the fragrance counters, kind of called me over as I was wandering through, and that was the first time that I was introduced to Tom Ford fragrances. A couple of classics, Tobacco Vanille and Tobacco Oud. And another one that really stood out at that point that was kind of a gateway to me liking gourmands is Bond Number 9, I Love New York for All. which has been
Nice.
continued for a really long time. I actually have that bottle right over here.
We got GN says that you sound like Vince. Do you know who Vincent is?
I do. I absolutely. I
You
don't
know,
know him personally, but I am aware of him. Absolutely.
yeah, you should
Thank you.
definitely check him out. Check him out. He's a cool guy. I was just thinking like you sound famous, and in my head I was like, man, who does he sound like? You seen that movie Napoleon Dynamite? You sound like Kip a little bit. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure
Okay.
you got that before.
Yeah,
You
I've
haven't
gotten
get that's the
that.
first.
I've gotten Rainn Wilson. You know, like Dwight from The Office. I've gotten that a lot, especially when that show was still running. Um, yeah. Yeah. Every once in a while, I people have commented on my voice a lot, especially when I'm reading out loud. I guess people really like it. I don't know. I'm not trying to show any particular hubris, um, but people say that my voice is calming. It's soothing, which the thing awesome. That's
The
cool.
the audio books are coming soon, right?
I guess as soon as those offers start rolling in, show me the money and I'll sit down and read for you. I got no problems with
Show me
that.
the money. Show me the money. I don't have that sound bite, but all right, let's get into these fragrances. We're gonna hop into the next section, listen to some music real quick and get right into it.
Cool.
Shout out to Jay-Z.
Fragrance talk, it's time to glow. Not so famous, but I know. Got the sense you want to know. In
Nice
the live
chill
stream, here
vibes,
we go.
relaxing vibes, you know.
Yes, sir.
Spraying dreams just like a
Go
pro.
back up.
All right, let's see what we got in the chat. I know Dakota's in here. Honor say, dang it, I love Napoleon Dynamite. He wants you to say, dang it, dang it.
Dang it. Gosh.
There we go. Yeah, that's spot on, man. You might have Hollywood calling you pretty soon. You're originally
I
from
need a
Los Angeles,
dinner.
correct? In the California area.
Yeah,
You were
I
born
grew
out
up in
here.
Pasadena.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I
Yeah,
lived in LA for about 30 years total. I was born and raised in Pasadena. Well, actually, I was born in Hollywood. I say
Hollywood.
that to
Shout out.
people around here. They're like, "What?"
I was born in Beverly Hills, and my brother was born in Hollywood. So yeah, we shout
Yeah,
outs to Los Angeles. Let's see.
absolutely.
Tell us about your handle. Yeah. They want to know about how you came up with that for your handle for your
Uh,
name.
so the word Sonder is from the Dictionary of Infinite Sorrows. It's a fictional book. I forget who the author is right now. Um, but the general idea of the word Sonder is the concept of looking at someone as you're passing them on the street and realizing that they have their own life, they have their own version of everything, their own perception of everything, down to the greatest details, to the finest nuances, and being able to place yourself in their position for just a moment to try and understand. And Saunders scent is taking that a step further, that when you're out in public and you're walking down the street and you smell something on somebody and it just catches you, it catches your nose, it catches your attention, it gets your imagination flowing. You start wondering about that person, you start wondering about that scent, where they get it, why they choose it, what's their lifestyle, what do they do, where are they going right now. So yeah, it's just the whole experience of scent, not just smelling it, but the transportive experience. That's Saunders scent.
Click that, gets timed up.
Very cool. Yeah, that's interesting, man. And you picked up on the reason why I have not so famous YouTuber. We got Dunk in the building, and you were able to pick that up. How'd you know?
Absolutely. Just from growing up, man, and being exposed to a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But yeah,
Yeah, that is definitely deep, Brian. I don't think they expected it to go that far. Like as far as that's pretty cool, man. You need to write a book.
maybe at some point, um, I've been told that I write well, that I write like I speak, and I'm well spoken. But I don't particularly enjoy the process of writing. So I don't know. Maybe if I had somebody to do it with, or I finally find the motivation someday. It took me years to find the motivation to start actually putting myself out on social media. So, I may get there eventually, but I tend to kind of do things in my own time.
You see this comment down here?
Uh, I don't think I know that one actually. I'm gonna have to look into that. It
Right.
sounds like it would be in the same vein, along the same concept. Um, but yeah, the book I'm talking about is the Dictionary of Infinite Sorrows. Here, I'll look it up if I can find it for you.
I could pull it up for you later if you want to, if it's gonna be a while. Oh, you got your iPad right next to you. What's
Yeah.
up, chat? You guys excited for Black Friday? I've been trying to be good, man. I've been holding off as much as I can. I spent some money this week, but yeah, I'm trying to see what Black Friday has in store for me. What about you, Raph? That's for you.
Oh, sorry. I apologize. Actually, the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. You can actually go to the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows.com. The book is by. They're not being obvious as to who the author is. I apologize. I should have been more on top of that. But yeah, Sonder is one of the most popular words out of that book. But that book has a really interesting collection of words that the author created himself in order to describe feelings, situations, vibes, thoughts that we don't necessarily have a specific word for in the English language. That's another thing that I'm really kind of interested in is that, in a lot of other languages, there are words or phrases that don't directly translate. Or at least if they do translate, they translate into, a much bigger phrase than they do just a word or two. So I think that the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows was a very interesting attempt to add that to the English language. And Sonder was the one that just stood out to me. I catch myself doing it without even thinking that I'm doing it. I tend to be kind of a daydreamer. Um, but yeah, it just fit. I've kind of gone as Sonder as a handle on the internet for a while, and then I connected it with fragrance, and I'm like, that works. That's my vibe. That's how I feel. When I'm out in public and somebody's walking down the street and leaves a scent trail, and I just either I know it or I don't know it, and it gets my brain going. That's Sonder scent.
Gets the people going. All
Yeah.
right, let's get into some sense real quick. I know you got some out. I know you got a gang of bottles behind you, but let's talk about what you got going on in front of you.
Yeah, I got a few in front of me. The first kind of thing I wanted to talk about a bit is that one of the big things that I've noticed is reformulations. And a lot of times, a fragrance that has been around for a very long time will go through a lot of reformulations. And people that have gotten into the fragrance hobby or game, in the last few years might not know what a fragrance that came out 10, 15, 20 years ago still smells like. A great example of that is Versace's The Dreamer. I know this one can be a little bit polarizing to some people. This is a 2012 bottle. This is a bottle from a couple of years ago. This is the original formulation. This is the new formulation. And they are in the same vein, but they're quite different. The older formulation is much spicier, it's deeper, it's richer. Whereas the older formulation actually has a tobacco note in it. The newer formulation switches to a tobacco flower, which makes it a lot more metallic, makes it a lot lighter and fresher and floral. And, to the untrained nose, walking down the street, you might not notice a huge difference, but I do.
So,
This
so
very
right
much smells like a. Sorry, go ahead.
right now I have the notes up or the chords up for the Dreamer, the original. I mean, not the original, the formulated, reformulated version right now. So let's get into the notes while you talk about it. Go ahead.
So yeah, as you see on the newer formulation, it has tobacco flower, has more florals, iris, lily, flax flower, and it also has more of a green tinge to it. It's a lot more unisex. The modern formulation of Dreamer could easily be worn by women, and they would have no idea that they're wearing a scent that's marketed towards men. That being said, I think it smells really good on men. It's more of a warm weather fragrance, in my opinion, whereas the original formulation, being bit darker and deeper and spicier, it lends more to cold weather. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fragrance for super cold weather. Like I wouldn't wear this in the snow. But
This is
as
the
you can see,
original.
got the tobacco, the rose, carnation, and geranium instead of the iris and the flax. It's got more tonka in the base, lavender on the top. You know, the note breakdown is almost entirely different. It's in the same ballpark, but you know, if the original one's home plate, then this one's kind of out in the bleachers.
Very
I
cool.
like them both. That's why I have them both. I tend to not keep bottles that I don't think I'll wear. But I honestly wasn't on top of this fragrance when it first came out and I first introduced to the original formulation. Um, and then eventually through friend fragrance group, I'm not sure exactly where I ended up with the older bottle, but once I got my hands on the original formulation, I could just see how different it was and how big of a difference reformulations make. And you know, an important thing to realize is that reformulations are not the fault of the fragrance houses. It's almost always because of IFRA regulations changing.
Yeah.
Now, my personal opinion is what is on the fragrance houses is taking a fragrance, reformulating it in a way that it's a shadow, a whisper of the way it used to be, and then slapping it in the same bottle. I think that that's, I mean, people that are just discovering that fragrance aren't going to know the difference, but to anybody who's been following a fragrance for, you know, 5, 10 years, even longer, it's a little disrespectful in my opinion. You know, like why not just be creative and make something new? Um, in that same vein, I do have two bottles of the Armani Code EDT. This is a 2012 bottle. This is a 2021 bottle, the bigger one. And there's again a huge difference here. You're not going to see two different listings for this on Fragrantica or Parfumo, um, but the newer formulation, again, it's one of the common things that I've noticed with reformulations is that they tend to get lighter, airier, and brighter, and not the other way around. It seems like when things get reformulated for some reason, they start to lose depth. And I don't even think it's necessarily that they're watering down the juice or that it's a lower fragrance oil concentration, but when the IFRA bans a fragrance ingredient and they try to find a synthetic or some other combination of notes to make an accord that gets there, it often lacks depth. So, as I was saying, the modern formulation of code, this isn't even the newest formulation of code. I haven't smelled the one in the new bottle. I've heard that's even a little bit different too, but not a huge difference. There's Tonka here, but it's way in the background. This is a much fresher fragrance than I was used to when I originally smelled Armani Code. The citrus is much more upfront and present. It doesn't have that vanillic, balsamic, tobacco-y undernote, and it's good in its own right. That's why I still have the bottle, but it's definitely not the same as the older formulation that I have. And for all I know, this 2012 bottle could be a reformulation of, you know, what it was like when it originally came out, which I believe was quite a few years before that.
What's your batch code on that one? I haven't checked mine. I get that fresh type of powdery. Not that citrus. I don't get that much citrus up top, so it might be a little
So
older. There you go. 38
yeah,
UD00W. Okay, I got
yeah.
it.
That's the new one.
Great scent, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great casual scent.
I'm a huge fan of the Code line. I would say of any particular fragrance line, that's the one I have the most bottles of, the most flankers of. I think I have about 14 variations of Armani Code. Um,
So you got
some that are
B.
long.
Yeah, you got some of the sport versions of it.
I do. I have Ice. I have the original Armani Code Sport. I have Colonia. Those are the lighter versions I have. I have the ones that were around up until a couple years ago. Profumo, Absolute, Absolute Gold. Um, I have Armani Code Ultimate, which I believe is maybe like 10 years old at this point. And that smells for all the world like the original release of Armani Code EDP. It almost kind of seems like they were trying to redo Armani Code Ultimate when they put the EDP out. Um, and I have the Parfum. I haven't tried the new release of the EDP or the EDT. I'd love to get my nose on it in a store. I just haven't had the opportunity yet. But having 14 bottles of code, I don't think I need to buy a re-release
Yeah.
of
The
something.
parfum is really nice. I had the 50 and I had to end up buying the bigger bottle just because out here in California, that fresh um with that iris type of vibe to it. I like that. I like that combo. It's a nice work scent.
I'm a huge fan of Iris. And the parfum is a beast, at least off of my skin, like three,
Mine
maybe
too.
four sprays, and I am filling a room for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Um,
And
yeah,
it
Armani in
definitely it definitely
general.
has a modern touch to it. It's definitely more modern than the original code for sure.
Um, and then, of course, crowd favorite, fraghead favorite, Dior Homme. This is the original Silver Stem DNA by Olivier Polg, which it is quite different from the other formulations. It's a lot more complex. It's perhaps a little bit less approachable. So that's this one, and then the other one is the Silver Stem, but it's the travel bottle.
Yeah, that's the first time I've seen that travel, and maybe it's been a while since I've seen it, since that's back in the day. But that silver one, you could still find a couple of them out there. They're just crazy expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually used to have a 50 mil with the Silver Stem. I think I ended up trading it for something that I really wanted. I love Dior in general. I love Dior Homme. I love their iris. I have most of the versions of it. Um, I don't have the original formulation of Dior Homme Intense, but I do have I believe it's the 2020 formulation. I smell the original version. I don't notice a huge difference. Um, but the Dior Homme line, the original Homme, the three different versions that there are. I did have the most recent formulation, the Dior Homme Original. I didn't notice a huge difference between that and the 2012 version. That's this guy right here. It was maybe a little bit citrusy and a little bit less lipsticky, therefore a little more approachable, which is kind of not what I prefer in my Dior fragrances. So I ended up getting rid of that one too.
Yeah.
But
I'm a
the
big fan of the line as well. O is really good. I really like that. The sport versions, I like the 2012. The 2020 is nice as well. I have multiple bottles of 2020 just because you really can't go wrong. Perfect work scent. Really,
yeah,
really, really, really nice. The parfum is nice, of course. It's really
yeah,
good, really good line.
I don't really understand. Well, I do understand why the 2020 got a lot of negativity up front. I mean, I think it might have done Dior a little better if they had either put that as a flanker in the Dior own line, or if they had just made it a completely different line.
Like a
Um,
fresh,
you know,
like a oh fresh type of deal, something like that.
yeah,
Yeah,
like they could have put that forward as a replacement for Dior Homme O, which was kind of like here and gone in a couple of years, and I miss that a lot. I have a bottle of that too, but
Yeah,
I spray it sparingly because it goes for a pretty penny these days if you can even find it.
it
Um,
does.
but yeah, that actually
But
might be.
at the same time, that 2020 probably did better for mass appeal for people just grabbing it off the shelf 100%. That iris might be
Yeah,
kind of hard to get used to.
yeah. I mean, when I first encountered Dior Homme, many many years ago, I'm sure I was smelling through stuff in a department store or in a mall or something like that, and I didn't dislike it, but I was also kind of like, I don't know if I want to smell like that.
Yeah,
But eventually the iris just drew me in, and now I have a ton of different iris and orris fragrances, um, and it's one of those things where it does kind of lean a little bit feminine, but it's that thing of a confident man wearing a feminine leaning fragrance can be very very sexy. You know,
yeah.
um, I, I yeah.
2021 Sport is nice as well. I have multiple bottles of the 2021 Sport. I have the 2017 as well. Got that blood orange to it.
The blood orange is nice in the 2017. I really like that the 2021 has a strong dose of elemi in it, which gives it that kind of citrusy, piney
The
thing going on.
aldehydes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Really
I really.
nice.
Um, I'm interested to see what they do next. I mean, it seems like they either put out a Dior Homme flanker or reformulation about every 5 to 8 years, and I think we're at almost the 5 year point since 2020. So it's about time for Dior to do something. But what I would really love to see Dior do, and honestly, also Chanel, Armani, Versace, I would love to see these brands start putting out new fragrance lines.
Yeah.
Like I'm not completely hating on the flanker game. I get it. It's approachable to the masses. It's a version of something that people are familiar with. But at the same time, what happened to the creativity? You look at fragrances in the 90s and the 2010s. I mean, you were getting all sorts of new fragrances from designer houses all the time. And now that's kind of left to the niche houses. You don't necessarily see the big designer houses taking too many risks. Um, I,
Unless you
I
start
wish
getting into like their private lines or whatever.
that, I
Um,
mean, yeah, that's a little bit of a different story. I mean, that's kind of like designer houses pushing themselves into the niche genre, which respect, absolute respect for that. There's amazing fragrances like that. That YSL's, the line that has tuxedo and baby cat. That's another good example of that.
yeah.
Um, some of the best fragrances I've ever smelled. Tuxedo and Baby Cat compete with most of the niche that I have as far as quality is concerned and creativity is concerned, and originality for that matter. Um, but I'd love to see some creativity and just a little bit of risk taking in their core lines. For lack of a better way of putting it, it just I'm bored with getting another Y flanker. I'm bored with getting another Aqua de Jo flanker or another Code flanker or like Super Leggera. It smells great, but it's appealing to the masses. It was really overpriced, and I've smelled it, but I don't want to buy it. I have the rest of the Allure line, and I just don't care about that. You know, there you go.
They're
To
really
my baby,
nice.
so good. I can't wait until it finally gets cold enough around here to wear a baby cat. You were saying the same thing earlier, um, but yeah, baby cat is probably my favorite leather fragrance, and I have quite a few. But something about that smoky vanilla suede it just draws me in.
It's
It
killer.
transports me to a different place. Um,
And they do have Rafikat, which I do own, which is a clone of it, and it's not the same. It's definitely not the same. It'll get you in the vein, a little bit more smoky on that Rafikat, whereas you get more suede on the baby cat. It's just done so nice. The quality on it is just right off the rip. It's just crazy. It's up there.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm impressed that, I hold it up to my nose and it actually smells like, I'm smelling a suede bag or a new suede shoe or something along the lines of that. Often in lower quality leather fragrances, which are still good, the leather can come off really synthetic and kind of scratchy to my nose. But not with Baby Cat. It smells like
No,
authentic, fresh suede. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I
Um,
definitely agree. Uh, they need to let new perfumers formulate for these luxury brands at least one off. Yeah,
I'm with you, Dutch. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I get these, the big houses having in-house perfumers, like Francis Kurkdjian's at Dior now, which it makes sense that somebody is heading up and unifying their line. But yeah, it would be really great if the bigger brands would take a risk on someone that clearly knows what they're doing but isn't as well known and is perhaps willing to push boundaries because they want to make a name for themselves. Like I feel that way with all kinds of artistic expression, writing, music, acting, fragrance. I'm a chef by trade, so cooking, pushing the boundaries. Yeah, I wish we could see a little bit more of that in the mainstream. But the good thing is we have social media where people can kind of express themselves almost however they want, and show the art that they're doing and their expression in their own way, which is it's a really amazing thing that has kind of popped up in the last 15 years. Um, so yeah, uh, it's fun.
I agree with Dakota. We need a new Versace Dylan Blue Parfum or something like that. Not
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
I
not
would
that
like
one's almost
that.
that one almost smells like it would be like a parfum style of fragrance the way that they created it. It's got some punch to it for being such a blue fragrance. It's kind of dark.
It's a little dark, it's a little smoky, and it's definitely aggressive. I mean, there's a lot of fixatives in the bottom of that one, which make it stick around a long time and make it really, really present to whoever you're around. It'd be nice to see a version of that. I don't think it needs to be any deeper, but it might be nice if it was a little softer, maybe a little more powdery,
Mm,
and throw a note in there that's complementary but takes it in a different direction, you know
yeah.
um, maybe even
Maybe
like
make
a boozy version of Dylan Blue.
that'd be kind of crazy. I don't know a blue boozy flanker. That'd be kind of crazy. I don't know how many people would take to that. What kind of booze would you think they would add to something like that?
I
Maybe
would
like
think
a vodka
I would think
maybe?
Yeah, I was thinking something like along a clear liquor vibe, like a vodka or a gin. I mean, you being a blue fragrance, you could almost even push it in like a salty tequila direction. That might be kind of
Yeah.
cool.
Speaking of that, Romance Silver, you remember that? It's got that vodka
Oh
note
yeah,
in it. Yeah, that was
yeah,
nice fragrance. Yeah, definitely a
absolutely.
good one. You got some more stuff on the table. Let's grab another.
Yeah, moving into some discontinued things. Um, this one in particular, it used to get some love back in the day, and this house has a line that's gotten a lot of love in the last few years, which I have all of those. But Narciso Rodriguez for him. You don't really hear anything about this gray bottle anymore. And it is very unique. It was one of those things where a designer is trying to put something out that's a little bit different. The note breakdown on this is pretty simple. It's mainly a lot of violet and musk. It pushes it in an ozonic petrichor direction. Petrichor is that smell of, if it's
Fahrenheit.
ever been dry if it's ever been dry for a really long time and then all of a sudden there's a burst of rain and then the sun comes out and you smell that moisture evaporating off of the dry ground, that's petrichor. This smells like water evaporating off of wet concrete, but in a beautiful way.
And
um,
see, the first thing I said was Fahrenheit. First note on here is violet leaf.
yep, it definitely is in that direction. But where Fahrenheit has that kind of petrol, kind of gasoline thing going on in the background, this has a mineralic kind of damp pavement thing going on in the background, and
I
and
love
I
that.
love, I
Yeah, me too.
absolutely, um, I really wish
No,
there were
it's
more.
like 150 bucks if I buy it right now. What do you think?
I mean, is it worth $150? Depends on how much you like that Fahrenheit kind of genre of fragrance. You know, if
I
you,
do like it.
I think it's better than Fahrenheit. That might be
Okay.
a hot take, but I think it's better than Fahrenheit. I think it's more wearable than Fahrenheit. Um, Fahrenheit, when you're walking around and you smell somebody wearing Fahrenheit, it's pretty approachable. It's when you really kind of stick it right under your nose that
And
it starts
that's
to
what's
get.
addicting to me. And that's what's addicting to me, that petrol type of vibe to it. I love it, man.
And this, I mean, this does have just a taste of that in the background. I mean, the violet ain't going to do that, but in Fahrenheit, it's the violet in combination with the leather that's really pushing it that direction.
Yeah.
And this has that kind of soft musk. The patchouli is adding to that damp concrete vibe. It's got that wet, damp, dry patchouli. Sometimes patchouli can be really balsamic and sweet. No, all the sweetness in this is coming from the violet.
Have you tried
There is a touch.
that Ferragamo bright leather? That's a really good one too, as far as like a lighter version take on it.
Yeah, I actually just picked that up about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago at a rack store, and that
Yeah.
is an amazing take on that Dior Fahrenheit DNA. Much more approachable, more citrusy. I would compare that. I had a bottle of Fahrenheit cologne for a while, which again kind of reined in the petrol vibes and amped up the citruses. Bright leather is a lot like that. Um, and the Mercedes-Benz EDT, for
Mm.
the Mercedes-Benz Men EDT is another one that's very much in that, more wearable violet, Dior Fahrenheit vibe. But this stands out. Sadly discontinued, going for a lot of money these days. This is an EDT. There is an EDP version out there that has more of like a mirrored paint on the inside. Love to get my hands on that. If anybody out there has a bottle and they want to sell it or trade it to me, hit me in the DMs. But yeah, big fan of this. Yep, there it is. That's the one. It's good stuff. That
Mm.
whole line from Mercedes Benz is good stuff.
It really is. It really is. There's a couple that I haven't tried, but the cologne, the blue bottle, that's really good, like a lemonade. And then they have the clear bottle of this, which is a little fresher. They're both
Yep.
very similar to each other, though. But yeah, good
Have
line.
you tried the Parfum, the kind of brown gradient bottle?
Nice, but nice box though, right? I always thought about it, but I
Yeah.
never pulled the trigger on it.
I mean, again, it's that kind of violet DNA, but it has a really nice soft leather note added in the background. That one's definitely worth checking out if you can, find it at a decent price. Um, but yeah, another one that's pretty rare these days, but was highly touted amongst perfumers when it was still going. This is Absolume Homme from Absolume Perfumer. Sorry. Um, there we go. Sad
Volume
faded
what?
label.
Sublime.
It's Absolume pour Homme Les Patchouli Sublime.
Okay.
Um, this is probably the best patchouli fragrance I've ever gotten my nose on. Um, the notes don't list any tobacco, but even if it's just a bunch of the other notes coming together to give a tobacco accord, it's definitely here. This, I've been told by perfumers, is the patchouli fragrance that perfumers use as the standard to hold other patchouli fragrances up against. Um,
This is interesting.
I had
Have
no
you seen a
idea.
Have you seen a bottle that looks like this? This is what I'm coming up with.
That looks like it might be a newer release from the house. I am actually not aware of that bottle at all.
Let's see if I can. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to get your hand on that bottle. It looks like the one that you have.
Yeah, I was introduced to this by someone that had actually worked for a boutique in Los Angeles that kind of was one of the exclusive dealers for this fragrance in the United States. And I probably wouldn't have encountered it if it wasn't for him. And I'm extremely grateful because it's
Got a
just
question for
divine.
you
It's
down here.
Yeah. Have I ever smelled OG Givenchy Gentleman? Yes, I have. I've smelled bottles like not bottles from the 70s because I know that that fragrance has been around since like 1976. I want to say.
Smells like
Um,
piss. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Now it is animalic. It is kind of it has that fougere vibe of that time period where people weren't afraid to put the stinky notes in the base to offset the beautiful notes in the top. And those scents were very much designed to be smelled out in the air, off of skin. They weren't designed to be smelled off of paper. They weren't designed for you to be burying your nose in it because you're going to get that urinal cake thing right in the front of your nostrils when you do that. But out in the air, the
it's
older
kind
versions of
it's kind of weird smelling something like that now. Like it was addicting when I sprayed it. I kept going back to it, but yeah, I definitely got that vibe to it. Because when I spray something, I have a habit of just over and over just smelling it as time goes on.
I mean, it's kind of in the vein of like, definitely YSL Koros is in that family of things. It's got that kind of stinky vibe underneath some really beautiful old school stuff on top. This has that beautiful vibe going on, but it does not have any of the animalic qualities. That's all been replaced by patchouli, earthy, damp, sweet, balsamic patchouli. And like I said, it's not listed, but I'd be really shocked if there wasn't tobacco in this, or an intentional combination of notes to make a tobacco accord, because that's often how it is in fragrance. Higher quality fragrances will actually have tobacco absolute in them. Zaharoff tobacco is a really good version of that.
Really
But
nice.
the gorgeous one of the best tobacco fragrances out there. But the lower quality, and I'm not saying bad by saying lower quality, but the lower quality tobacco fragrances generally don't have any real tobacco in them, and there isn't really a synthetic tobacco note. You use other notes to make a tobacco accord. Um, from what I've heard, but I don't know this to be a fact, that's kind of how Naxos is that there's not actually any tobacco in there. It's all of the other notes working together to come up with a tobacco accord. And Naxos is nice. I used to own it. I prefer Pure Van. Actually, I
And
prefer Bois 1920 Sushi Imperial to Naxos.
I know Joel likes that. Yeah, I prefer Decas personally. Did you see that comment from JCB?
Oh, the OG Molinar Patchouli. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the kings of patchouli. Those bottles are really hard to find these days. I appreciate Molinard. They're a really great niche house that doesn't get nearly enough love. You can find their bottles really affordably on discounters. I mean, I think it's like
40,
a
50
70 ml
bucks.
bottle. Yeah,
Yeah.
40 to 50, maybe 60 for some of the more obscure ones. But like
Do you have Citrus Noir, by the way?
I do not.
You
And
should
I
check
was
that one
actually
out.
grabbing Gingembre,
Gingerbread. Yeah.
which I like this way better than Dior Homme Cologne. It's got that same sort of iced lemonade vibe, but it's got a beautiful fresh citrus or ginger note on top of it. And it's half the price, literally half the price. So yeah, Molinard needs more love. I know that they get a lot more love in the European market, overseas. But I would love to see more people talk about Molinard fragrances here. I have Patchouli Vanille and Ombre from them as well. Both of those are beautiful, sweet, cold weather
There's
scents.
there's a vanilla one. What's it? Vanilla. It's a fruity vanilla or fruity vanilla or something like that. That's really
Full
good.
Fruité, I believe
Yeah,
it's called. I haven't tried that one. I actually almost ended up picking up that one on a fragrance by CA stint, but I decided to go with the ombre instead. Molinard ombre is a lot like amber malaki. It's also a lot like ombre sultan from Serge Lutens. But the Surge is much more complex. It's much spicier. But they all have that kind of same resinous, sweet, balsamic amber quality to them, which I absolutely love. And then one other kind
I
of,
just got mine,
it's
as you can see,
yeah,
Amber
that's
Sultan.
so good. That red juice, love it, so good. Serge Lutens is another house that it definitely gets some love in the states, but I really wish it got more. Chergui is amazing. My favorite from the house is 5 o'clock au gingembre,
I need to get
which
that
is
one.
just
I just got into the house for the first time, and I ended up picking up that Chergui, Amber Sultan, and Santal Magic School, and this was like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Santal Magic School is a really good one too. I had that. I've got so many rose fragrances that I think I ended up trading that for something, or I sold it. It was beautiful. It seemed a little simple, not low quality, but just very straightforward. It's like it's rose, it's sandalwood, and there's not a whole lot more going on there. Whereas most of the other fragrances from that house are quite complex, quite complex.
You see,
Um,
John's comment down there. You could speak on that one.
Estee Lauder, JHL Ferment. No, that one I don't know. There are some holes in my fragrance knowledge and journey. Um, there's some classics that I've never smelled. Gingembre is like
Speaking,
Dior and cologne. Yeah. Yep.
yes,
I
speaking of that, we were just talking about Mercedes. Mercedes cologne smells like that Dior on.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So does Jimmy Choo Man Ice. They're all in that same
yeah.
kind of vein. But I would say the Molinard is definitely the highest quality of any of them, and it's more reasonably priced than the Dior. It's just not as common, but pretty easily found if you look for it. I have a sample of Fil and Arguil. It's good. It's really good. I need to give it more time and a little more experience. It didn't grab me right from the beginning, but it wasn't a no either. Um,
It's the same thing I felt about Gentle Fluidity Silver. I just rocked that for the first time last week, and I was like, I'm gonna have to give this some more wearings.
both of the gentle fluidities kind of don't jive with my nose. I like MFK. I have several offerings from MFK. But both of the gentle fluidities have some kind of synthetic aroma chemical in a pretty strong dose
That
that
metallic
feels
nature,
fuzzy.
yeah. They're
It's
meant to
it's it's
actually
it's
spray together. It's like a combo. You're supposed to spray them both, and I haven't checked that out yet.
well, and they're both the same notes, just in different proportions. That's another interesting thing they did is while the gold is more sweet, it's heavier on the amber and the vanilla, and the gentle fluidity silver is more on the citruses and the metallic notes and the musky notes. Um, I need to give silver another try. I'm definitely not a fan of gold. Um, yeah, it just hits my nose funny. Not a big fan. But something
What
I am
fragrance?
a huge Go ahead, sorry.
What fragrance nowadays could you see being released in the '80s when we're talking about patchouli fragrances?
Like what's a modern fragrance that smells like it should have been released back in the 80s? Hmm.
I'll grab one real quick.
Dracar Intense kind of falls in that direction, but I mean it's a flanker of Dracar Noir, which is from the 80s, so that's kind of a cheater answer. I'm trying to think. Hmm.
I'd say Paris Monte Carlo Patchouli Nosy B will get you in that vibe.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I would actually say that minus the animalic and kind of stinkier side, this smells for all the world like it should have been released at about 1986, 1987. Even the bottle kind of looks that way. It's got that classic vibe, very, very old school structure, but the notes smell a lot more modern. And having no animalic qualities to it, being a little more sweet than fragrances in this style normally are, it's a lot more approachable. So that makes it feel more modern. But its structure, its notes, it's got a very, very old school vibe to it. I wish it was more commonly available. You can find information about this brand online, Absolume Parfumer, and they made a couple of other fragrances. They made an absinthe fragrance, which I've never gotten my nose on,
Hmm.
but I am one of those weird guys that likes those sort of licoricey fragrances. I have Loire Vert and I have Lolita Lempicsa Pour Homme. Those are kind of licoricey scents. Um, I like that. They're very situational, but I like them a whole
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, definitely. What are we looking like on the table? How many more you got on the table?
I got four more. Um,
Let's get it.
this line is still putting out new fragrances, and it's very much a representation of what this house, the vibe this house is trying to give off. Prada, Prada's Infusions, Infusion Dome. This has been discontinued for a few years now, maybe four or five. This was one of the first releases in this line. They are still putting out fragrances in this line. Um, this is kind of the pinnacle of the Prada clean, soapy, musky, elegant, masculine but not aggressive fragrance. Um, it's to die for. I really, really wish I could get my hands on another bottle at a reasonable price. Actually, Max Aroma was selling 100 milliliter bottles of the aftershave of this for $70 about a year ago. I bought a couple of those. Um, but yeah, this is
Prada does clean so well, don't they?
so well. Just you could wear this any time of the year, any situation. You could overspray this. You could spray, a third of this bottle on yourself, and you still wouldn't offend anybody.
Yeah.
Light and citrusy, powdery, floral, but definitely masculine.
How would you compare that to something like Prada Amber? Not the intense.
Prada Amber is a little bit deeper, and I'd say this is more powdery, whereas the Amber is a little bit more on the soapy
So
side.
soapy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also Prada's a little more. The Amber is a little more earthy, whereas this almost has like an airy quality to it. It's very
Gotcha.
light. It's very
Ozonic. Let's
almost
check these notes real
ozonic.
quick.
But yeah,
Neroli, mandarin orange, iris, vetiver, galbanium, cedar, powdery notes, albanium again, and benzoin.
but like often iris, benzoin, olibanum, even vetiver, those can be notes that are heavier in a fragrance. It can almost kind of hold weigh a fragrance down. And this isn't. Everything
How
is bright, everything is airy,
how
everything just
sweet is
kind
that
of
neroli in it?
not. But the neroli is present, but it's almost more as a indescript white floral. It's not giving off a green vibe. It's not giving off that kind of grape soda vibe. It's doing what Prada normally does with neroli, which it's holding up that white floral base without actually standing out that much.
I love white florals with some citrus in there. I got to do some
Yeah,
shopping.
yeah. If you guys can get your hands on a bottle of Infusion to Home at a reasonable price, I highly recommend it. But the rest of the line is really great too. I also own Infusion to Cedar and Infusion to Vetiver, and I've smelled Infusion to Vanille. All great ones. The Vanille is very feminine leaning. That's why I don't own a bottle of it. But the Cedar and the Vetiver are great. But if you're not super into that powdery, soapy Prada vibe, they do get a little bit redundant.
Now you
It's
can you
it's
can
kind of
find
like they're switching out one note and it's a play on it, but they're all beautiful.
you could find like a 50 mil of that for like around $150 right now. That's the price point
Yeah,
that they're typically going for. Yeah.
yep, they're out there. It's just not being produced anymore, which is really unfortunate. I mean, I wonder if it's, it just wasn't selling very well, or if it was some kind of reformulation issue. The cedar and the vetiver, the base of them, the powdery, soapy, neroli base is very similar. Sometimes the base is, pushed in one direction or the other, but I can't really figure out, other than that fragrance not selling, why they would have discontinued it. But it's very sad.
Maybe
Um,
it's got that the bottle leans feminine. It seems like maybe
it is.
yeah.
I mean, it's a classy looking bottle, but it's not a masculine looking bottle. It's not a bottle that particularly stands out either. Like it's pretty,
And
it's there. It's
actually, yeah, and the bottle style is actually the type of style that you like, but I think it's the plaque that they put on it that makes it more feminine, you know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
it doesn't look too far off from like a tuxedo, um,
You know,
something in that type of realm.
the first time I saw this line on websites, and I was kind of like, oh, well, that must be, Prada's, Privé or Reserve line. But they all look feminine. The bottles look very feminine. Is that supposed to be for men? And then somebody clued me in to the fact that a lot of them are actually quite masculine, or unisex.
Yeah,
I'd the cedar and the vetiver are fairly unisex fragrances, while the infusion de vanille is quite feminine. It's beautiful. I would love to smell it on somebody, but I don't want to smell like that. As much as I love vanilla fragrances, that's not my jam.
what you got next?
And so the last house that I want to talk about is a house that I don't really hear about on fragrance groups, on YouTube channels, on Instagram. I do know that this brand has a strong small following. Um, they started as a shave company, shave soap and aftershave products company, making really high end products. Company is Barrister and Mann. This bottle in particular is Cheshire. The owner of Barrister and Mann, the goal of their fragrances is to revive sense of a lost time, whether that's from 20, 30 years ago, or it's a recipe for a fragrance that was made in the 1800s, or and even earlier sometimes. The owner is also a strong Anglophile. He really likes British culture. So this is an Earl Grey tea fragrance without
Mm,
tea in it, but it really does smell just like sticking your nose right up against an Earl Grey tea bag. It doesn't necessarily smell like brewed Earl Grey, but like when you open up a box of Earl Grey tea bags and you kind of stick your nose in that, it's like that with a fresh cut citrus right next to it.
bergamot, yeah, lavender, patchouli, Earl Grey
It's
tea,
it's so good.
nice.
I love tea fragrances, and it's really interesting that this one actually achieves the goal of smelling like black tea without actually having black tea in it. It's gorgeous. It's probably not for everyone. It might be challenging to some people. I know that Earl Grey tea itself can be kind of challenging to even people that like tea. I've heard some people say Earl Grey tea tastes like an old man's dirty sock. I'm like, okay, well, I disagree, but you know,
And how would
um,
they know that in the first place? That's kind of
right?
a
Like, what dirty socks have you been sucking on?
right.
Uh, a one of my favorite fragrances from Barrister and Mann. It is kind of a limited production. They'll usually do a small amount of it every year. It is a themed fragrance. Generally, in my opinion, themed fragrances or fragrances based off of a non-fragrance concept either don't work out very well or they seem like they're trying too hard. But this is 42 by Barrister and Mann. It is a fragrance that is based on the trilogy of books, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams, a series of books that I was obsessed with when I was in high school. And they couldn't have done this better. Every single note in this fragrance is a reference to something in the story. Most of the references that they're going towards are kind of cult classic jokes amongst people that like that book and the movie as well. There was a movie that was based on that book that came out, I want to say, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. But the notes on this are
I'm seeing the soap over
petunia.
here, but
Yeah,
I
they
don't. I
make
don't.
it so. If you go on, I believe it's on Parfumo. You should be able to find notes for 42 from Barrister and Man. Um, but petunia, lemon sugar, and um, there it is. Yeah, petunia, tea, lemon sugar, and ambergris. So it's mildly aquatic, musky from the ambergris, but mostly this is another tea and citrus fragrance. But it's quite different from Cheshire. It's a lot sweeter. It's a lot brighter. It's I actually, Autumn, I haven't tried Masca Milano's Russian tea. I know I need to. I know that's a lot of people's absolute favorite fragrance ever. And being a person that enjoys tea fragrances, I'm sure I'm probably missing out. That's on the list. I live in South Georgia. The next time I head up to Atlanta, that's one of the things that I'm going to go out of my way to smell.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Blue Mare from Atelier des Ors because you already know
Yeah.
what my jam is. That Gucci pour on
Oh
too,
yeah.
so I'm excited for that.
I want to get my nose on that as well. That's one of my old loves. I've still got a bottle hanging of it back there, but I went through one back in the day. Um, yeah, there's so much good tea out there. I don't know about that Bois 1920 fragrance, Joel. The
I'm
Ultramare,
it,
Ultramare.
I'm taking a picture
Um,
right now. Every time Joe does that, I get my little
right?
picture on so I can make sure that I yeah.
I mean, I've got multiple bottles from Bois 1920. I've got Sushi Imperiale and Cannabis Dolce and Dolce di Giorno, and I've got another really nice one that nobody ever talks about,
Yeah,
which
Joel's got
is
that 1920, I believe. Joel or John or both of them. Oh, that's nice.
yeah, this is Elite number 4. It's like this is another one of those old school leaning fragrances, kind of spicy, sweet, patchouli, woody, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I hear a lot of people talking about Bois 1920, but I don't hear anybody talking about the Elite line. Like people need to get on this one. Elite number 4, Bois
And that
1920.
looks like
Check.
a nice 100 ml too.
It is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a real nice bottle. This is actually
That's a crazy bottle. Yeah, look at that. That reminds me of
the
what
texture. It came with the cap and everything. So like,
who did a
it's
bottle that looks like that? It was Niche from Armaf. Remember they did that Niche line? I think they have
yeah.
a base like that.
It
Yeah.
was the
And then
base
it's
was like this, but it was a round bottle. I know
it
exactly
was
what you're
round.
talking.
Yeah, yeah. That one looks more like a Roja slash
Yeah,
the
or
square
like a
bottle
French.
Nichane. Yeah, Fragrance
Yep.
du Bois, that type of. Is that etched on the front too? It looks like that's
It
etched real
is
nice. Yeah,
absolutely etched on the front. Really, really, really well. I think this is supposed to be, like a step up from the round bottles they have. The line that like Sushi Imperiale is in. I think this is supposed to be like a step or two up from that. But yeah, this I haven't tried the other elite fragrances. I mean, this is number 4, so I assume there's a 1 through 3 that I'm kind of curious about.
no,
Um,
they just jumped to 4. They just said
right?
forget it. You know.
1 through 3 they were okay, but 4 now 4. Um,
Let's get you
and
back
then the
on.
last fragrance I have from Barrister and Man is potentially the best fragrance they have. This fragrance sells out almost instantly when they have it. Again, they're a small company. They do small batches of things, and they tend to sell out rather quickly. But this is Lavender Interrupted. I only have a 10 mil of it because every time I go and try and buy a 50 mil of it, they're sold out. But I'll read you the note breakdown on this because it's quite complex. Top notes are camphor tree, cinnamon, clove, geranium, lavender, and plum. Heart notes are aniseed, cedar, leather, mousse de sax, patchouli, and tobacco. Base notes are amber, civet, frankincense, hay, kelp, musk, oak moss, sandalwood, vanilla, and vetiver. So tons
Crazy.
going on. Chris. I mean, that note breakdown almost reads like a Raja Dove note breakdown. It's like,
It
maybe
really
3 or 4
does.
from being a Raja breakdown. And most of the fragrances from this house are not nearly this complex, but you really do smell all of those individual notes as this fragrance progresses. It
I do
starts
like.
out,
I just noticed I do like on the website they're giving you the expected wear time on this one. It's 8 to 10 hours, which is amazing, and it's made in the United States. That's awesome.
yep, everything's made in the USA. They try to use as much naturals as they possibly can. Some of their fragrances are straight natural essential oils, but obviously some synthetics there isn't a natural component. Um, yeah, this is a smoky, sweet vanilla, lavender, spicy fragrance. But once it gets into the dry down, you really do start to smell some of those other notes that you might not expect to smell in a fragrance like this, like the hay and the kelp. The kelp lends it kind of a it's not aquatic or oceanic or fishy, but it just has this kind of deep green quality to it as it dries down. Um, I cannot say enough about this fragrance. I wish, well, I will eventually get a bigger bottle of this. The main thing I wish is that the weather around here would cool down enough for me to wear this because it is definitely a cold weather scent. Um, you would be choking somebody out even with a couple of sprays wearing this in high heat. Um, yeah, but if you like resinous, spicy, smoky, purple floral, mm,
This 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 is what Raph said to do on that 4. Don't talk about it. He said keep that one in the tuck. Don't tell nobody about that. You keep that low. We'll delete that. You know.
right? Exactly. You didn't hear that from me because now the next time I'm going to go try and buy a 50 mil, that's just going to be sold out again. That's going to be my luck, but that's fine. I got 10. That's enough to get me by for now. But I really can't recommend the House of Barrister and Mann enough. They generally do put out soap, shaving soap, aftershaves, both balms and alcohol based aftershaves for just about every fragrance that they make. They're putting out new stuff all the time. It's very creative with a throwback feel. Um, Small U.S. based company. Everything is made in America. They do their best to source all of their materials from America as best they can. And they've been around for a while. This isn't a new company. I think they've been doing this for over 10 years. And like I said, they kind of have a small but strong cult following. That's mostly in the kind of like the wet shaving community. People that like to use
Yeah. Shout out to
maybe some.
Stacks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Boss 1920 Profumo di Firenze. I really need to get more into Bois 1920 because that's one of those houses that deserves more love because they put out really interesting, high quality fragrances. And when you find them on discounters, they're usually less than $100. You can find them for like 70 to 90 if you're on a good day. Um, Sushi Imperial, like I was saying, no, it's not the same fragrance as Naxos. I don't even think it's inspired by Naxos, but to my nose, they're very similar. And I prefer Sushi Imperial because the lavender in Naxos is just a little bit much for me. It's like an overdose of lavender on the top, and the tobacco in Naxos isn't really rich enough for me to even really consider it a tobacco scent. It's almost more like a lavender cinnamon honey scent to me. Um, so,
We
for
we
that
should
purpose,
we should find this and we should do this live one day.
yeah,
This yeah. I'm gonna take a
I'll,
picture of it right now, and yeah, we let me know when you get yours in. You get some time, we'll go over the
yeah.
house.
Send that photo to me if you don't mind.
Yeah, I
But
got
yeah,
you.
40 euros is not bad for a discovery set at all.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, I'm big on discovery sets. I've actually probably got about 10 that I'm going to be going through and making content with in the very near future. I'm going to start putting more stuff on YouTube. I don't really have anything on my YouTube channel at the moment, but I do have Saunderson or at Saunderson on YouTube and TikTok
Definitely,
as well.
definitely give him a follow, guys. Give him a follow. You know, he's gonna be doing his thing on Instagram and YouTube. What, about a month from now, you'll be on YouTube?
I'd say at the max, like give me like a week or so to really kind of get dialed in on like, my form, my style, what exact content I'm going to do. It's a little easier on Instagram to just kind of like pop on and, and do stuff. Whereas, people on YouTube kind of expect things to be a little bit more polished, a little bit more planned. So, I kind of got to get my ducks in the row and yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about
Um,
this?
so, what was it about a little less than a week
Couple.
ago on Instagram Live? I went through a Tiziana Terenzi Discovery set, and that was the banger of the bunch. 100% the best one that I smelled out of the whole thing. It's very much in the vein of Montal Intense Cafe. But where Intense Cafe has a bunch of rose and a little bit of coffee in the background and some vanilla in the middle, Deluxe is very balanced. The coffee is very present, but neither the rose or the coffee are fighting over each other. They're just there. It's velvety, it's smooth, it's sweet without being thick or syrupy. It's right down the middle, unisex. There's enough coffee in there to have it, push a little bit more masculine. There's enough rose in there to push back on the feminine side. Um, yeah, the only reason I haven't gotten a bottle of that is because I just have so many bottles.
Yeah. I
But eventually, yeah,
Well,
uh,
we definitely need to get you over to YouTube, man, because you got that hour limit over there on Instagram. You
yeah,
know, I'm sure you got a lot of people on Instagram that would love to come watch you on YouTube, and people in the chat over here. You've been in many chats before, you know. You got a lot of
yeah.
support, man. I'm excited for you.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity to just sort of dip my toes into the YouTube side of things, and everybody in the chat has been super supportive and kind, and yeah, that's exactly right, Joel. That's the best one of all the ones that I tried.
And we found it on Joma for a stupid price. I don't even want to show it right now because everybody's gonna
No,
buy it. I
don't
need
do that, 'cause everybody's gonna go buy it now that
Yeah.
I've
Here it
talked.
is right here. You know what? Forget it. We'll do it. We'll do it for the people real quick. $75 right now on Joma
Ooh,
Shop.
yeah. Yeah, $75 for a Tiziana Terenzi is a steal, no matter which one it is. But that one's a banger. It is the superior version of Intense Cafe. Now, I haven't smelled Ristretto Intense Cafe, so I don't know how to compare it to that one. I've heard the Ristretto version is a little bit stronger on the coffee. So, maybe
I try
it seems to me like,
I tried them so far apart that I couldn't even tell you the difference between them. It was because the one came out so much, like I think probably 2 or 3 years before, and then Ristretto just magically came about. So yeah, but they're good. But yeah, I'm interested in this deluxe. Is it
yeah, I
deluxe?
mean, if you like
Deluxe?
if you like coffee, if you like rose, if you're not afraid of a unisex fragrance, again, it's one of those things where the feminine leaning qualities are going to smell really sexy on a confident man. You know, I get more compliments from women when I'm wearing feminine leaning fragrances than when I do wearing something that's like classically masculine. Um, I don't know. Not that I get a whole ton of compliments in the small southern town that I live in. There are a whole lot of people around here that are really interested in fragrance. So again,
Limited
that's why
lim,
I'm very nets.
limited quantity. Dakota. Let me see if I can move this off to the side. Limited quantity. Right now, holiday preview sale, $75, but it is in stock and it shows the 8th or the 11th, depending on how you do your shipping. It looks like if you want it by Friday, November 8th, choose next day shipping. So you're gonna pay more for the shipping. Um, which I wouldn't trust on Joma Shop. I just say wait 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whenever they send it to you, get it for that $75 and call it a
Yeah.
day.
Yeah, that's the thing with Sloma Shop. Don't pay for the expedited shipping on Sloma Shop. You might get an extra day or two out of it, but they're legit. They're just slow.
They are slow. Yeah. Not too bad. It's just crazy how they do business, you know.
Yeah, I don't understand the whole thing of them justifying. Oh well, we know we're going to get this shipment in a couple of weeks, so we're just going to sell it now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even with how much it charge they pay for shipping if you order multiple items. You know, I had like six different shipments and I only paid once. Like this doesn't sound like good business. You know, they're
No.
paying for it each time they're shipping it out in UPS, USPS. I got it from FedEx, like just, random.
I've also had some odd things happen with them where, like I'll make a purchase for 5 bottles and 3 of them will be in stock at the time and 2 of them will be in stock later. And then they won't charge me for the 2 that they aren't shipping until later until they actually ship them. And I don't understand why I'm not just paying for everything at the same time. I don't know.
You
I
know,
talk with my hands.
Jonathan 1970.
I don't.
You definitely need to follow his YouTube. Check him out because he's got a crazy collection of vintage fragrances that will blow your socks off. He's got everything. So if you're interested in anything, he's probably got it.
I would assume 1970 is probably the year they ended up on this planet. So he's got 11 years off collecting on me. I would definitely be interested to see
Yeah.
some bottles.
Shout out to George Zaharoff in the building,
What is
showing
up,
love.
George? G-Man in the house. Thanks for coming in, man. I appreciate you coming in and supporting me.
What's today?
We need.
Today's Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. I don't know if you check out Joey Canoli's channel. Today's karaoke Wednesdays. You
Yeah.
obviously know who Joey Canoli is. I see the triple X in the back.
Oh yeah. I
So
love Jolie.
yeah.
I love
Do you
Joey.
sing you sing at all?
I
You want
mean, yeah, I do. It's been a long time, but I was in bands when I was in my 20s back in the 2000s. Singing, playing bass, writing songs, mostly indie rock stuff. Nothing that anybody would have ever heard of. But yeah, I'm a very musical person, and I could probably dust off my vocal cords for a karaoke night. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a good time. You should check it out, man. He's gonna be going live tonight. I'm just over here looking up your pictures on you even look like it, man. This
No doubt. See, now it's been a long time since I've rocked a mustache. I don't usually do the mustache. It kind of gives a certain vibe that I don't want to put off. But yeah, if I had bigger glasses and a little mustache, no beard, yeah, I'd be Kip for sure. Your
we
mom
got a
goes to
couple
college.
we got a couple more bottles left on the table. Since George is here, you could grab a Zaharf and talk about that, make him happy. Might as well.
I'll talk about what I was wearing yesterday, which is my favorite from the house. It's
Yeah,
signature
Orem.
Harem.
Very nice.
Gotta love them. I mean, this is an absolute masterpiece. From the bottle to the contents of the bottle to the box. The star of the show in this one is the honeycomb absolute that Claude Deer came up with. There's no other honey fragrance out there like this. There are some honey fragrances out there that are, the same quality, but they,
Yeah.
they, they just don't compare. Kind of the closest thing that would be in the neighborhood of this is Zoologist Bee, but they are two
Hmm.
very different fragrances. Very,
Yeah, I
very
could
different.
I could definitely see that being because I have tried B Fort and Manley, All the Queen's Men is
Yeah.
similar, but it's less sweet, less mass appealing, more
Well,
animalic.
and this is loosely based on baklava, which being a chef, and I worked in kitchens for 25 years. I worked in pastry by itself for 5 years. Baklava is one of my favorite things, and this doesn't smell like a pastry, but you can see how it was inspired by that. The
Yeah.
creamy, nutty honey. It's almost even got that like caramelized, flaky pastry vibe going on with it, but it still smells like a fragrance. It doesn't smell like a food. And I love gourmands. I love gourmands that
Si-
smell exactly like food. But
si-
this is
si-
much more approachable.
since George is here, Rose, when is that 120 mil coming out, or 125? I think it's next
Right?
year. I'm looking forward to that one. Get that big bottle.
I mean, I'm looking forward to that, but I'm more looking forward to the next drop that's coming. I hear whispers of it coming in December. The
Whispers in the
Precious Treasure.
library.
Precious treasure. I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited. I follow George on his adventures around the world, collecting all the raw ingredients for his fragrances. He's, more than anybody else that at least shares with the rest of the world, he is involved on a ground level with the creation of his fragrances.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that he wants to share that with us.
How Fetty
Because
Rose, and we heard about
uh,
it so much in advance before it was even out. So
I mean, it was
yeah,
even the
shout
same
out to
thing with
George.
it's the same thing with Barham. I mean, it was just kind of like, I hesitate to say it was a tease because I don't feel negatively about it. It was just like hint, 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 and
Yeah,
you just want more and more and more. And a lot of times when you have this built up perception and expectation in your head of a fragrance, and then you get it and it's not exactly that, it's a big letdown. That's never happened for me with Zaharoff, not a single time. It's always exceeded my expectations. It's like, oh yeah, it's what I was thinking, but also this other amazing component, and it goes this amazing direction. And yeah, I'm definitely a
yeah,
Zahara fan. No shame.
definitely. And I know you got all of them.
I do.
How, how many more do we have on the table right now?
That's all I had. I mean, I can still keep pulling bottles off the shelf, but that's everything that I had set up for y'all. Um, yeah, really, really appreciate the opportunity to, share some of my thoughts and opinions on some things that don't really get talked about anymore. Sorry for the sirens. Um,
As
yeah,
long as they're not coming for me.
it wasn't me.
Right? I was on a live stream.
I
Let's
was
get
on a
into
live
the
stream at the time.
let's get into the chat real quick.
Heck
Um,
yeah.
so we can finish this one up. But yeah, definitely check out Jonathan for sure. I need to have Jonathan on the channel. Um, who else was on here that I saw that I really
Eddie,
needed
that's
to
my
have
buddy Eddie
on?
Weinberg.
George got to come on. John's got to come on. Joel's got to come on. Definitely, guys, hit me in the DMs, man. No funny business. Just hit me in the DMs. Pause.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a
Actually,
good show, man. Go
I
ahead.
got I got one more question before we go. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, there they are. For real though, is this still wearable or has it been canceled?
It's been canceled. Well, no, it's wearable. You can definitely wear it, and it's got the best atomizer in the game.
No
But
doubt, 100%. But
find them anymore. But you could definitely wear it. You could definitely wear it.
well, I mean, but here's the thing: if I'm walking down the street and I'm smelling good, and somebody asks me what I'm wearing, I'll be damned if I'm going to say I'm wearing that Diddy juice. Like, what am I supposed to say?
Just just tell them you're walking 3 a.m. That's it.
I'm, I'm rocking a gin and tonic right now.
There you go. There you go. Show them that atomizer one more time. Pump it for the chat. The side view. There you go. Look at that beast.
Best in the game.
Yeah. I should have got a couple bottles before they did what they did with it. But yeah, definitely a nice fragrance. Gin and tonic
Yeah,
definitely does smell similar to that. I do prefer gin and tonic. But
I,
really
I
nice
do
for the
too.
price. Yeah, for the price, not
Well, I
bad.
mean, you used to be able to get these for like 20, $30, you know, at one point. I think I paid maybe like 35 for my 100 ml at some point. But yeah,
Nice.
you really can't anymore.
We got a commitment from John. He said he'll be ready soon. Let's get it.
Yeah,
Diddy Juice is
absolutely.
criminal. But but yeah, we're good. How long have we been going for? Couple hours? This is
Almost 2 hours, man. Like hour and
yeah,
43 minutes.
yeah, not bad, not bad. Yeah, usually we go
Yeah,
on for about an hour and 15 minutes or so. So this has been nice, man. I wanted you guys to be able to check him out and see, what he's got behind him and all that good stuff for people on YouTube that might not be too big on Instagram. I'm not too big on Instagram. I go and I'll stop by and say what's up, that type of thing. I might post a couple things. I'm not big on
yeah.
Instagram. But yeah, I'm excited for you to
I'm
get
a
over to this space.
I'm gonna be migrating over to YouTube. I'm not gonna leave Instagram. I got some pretty solid followers and attention over there, but I'm gonna start putting stuff out on YouTube. I'm gonna start figuring out my vibe and my flow and the flavor of my channel. And this has been really helpful. Just to, I can do it. I can get over my social anxiety. That's
Yeah.
probably the biggest that I'm trying to get over, is just like, oh, this really isn't that hard, is it?
Yeah. And I think I've seen two of your lives so far. How many have you done on Instagram? Has it been like two or three?
Just two. Yeah.
Just two.
Doing the lives has become a relatively new thing. I have been, following and watching and lurking in the chats of, all of the major creators and a lot of minor creators for, basically since fragrance content started making its way onto social media. Um, but yeah, I finally just decided I'm gonna, dip my foot, show my face,
Hold
let
on
people
one
hear.
second, all right? Hold on one
Yeah,
second. Let's get your name for Jonathan real quick. There you go, Jonathan.
yeah. Hit me up, Jonathan. I would love to have a talk. We can, talk fragrance, talk vintage.
Got his music, his own music.
The world fades out of sight when I spray
There's always
everything
the
so
production.
bright. Fragrant dreams and twilight beams, sonder senses on the stream, chasing endless
All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here, man. I enjoyed having
Thank you
you. I
so
can't
much.
wait to have you back. Everybody, this is where you say goodbye. Make sure you hit your thumbs up if you haven't. If you just now jumping on, catch that replay. Love you guys. Have a good one.
Thanks so
Thanks
much,
for coming
everybody.
on, man. Yeah, definitely. Drop them scents of the day and all that good stuff if you haven't. We're out of here. Let's get this music
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah. See ya when I see ya. It's been a real, it's time to leave ya. Hit that like up on the way out. Shit was nice, it's time to break out. Time to relax, it's time to lay out. But before the song plays out, don't let the door hit you on the way now. More frat content is bound, break out. And I'll be here to talk it out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Peace chat, not so famous. Live stream is over for now, but never done. Shout out to the real ones, the day ones, and the subs. Goodbye and good night. More frat content is bound breakout, and I'll be here to talk it out. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Peace chat, not so famous. Live stream is over for now, but never done. Shout out to the real ones, the day ones, and the subs. Goodbye and good night.